Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the 6 a.m. Club where we start our day inspired. Today I feel really inspired. I'm closing my suitcase. I'm getting ready to go to the airport to head back home after spending a week in Barcelona for work. I also was able to squeeze a little dinner with my parents and my brother and my aunt, and it was so energizing. It was a really, really energizing week, meeting colleagues at work for the very first time and connecting with family, learning and networking, and it was just a great week. Now I'm ready to head back home, but not before I record this week's 6 a.m. podcast episode. And like every week, I have a new quote for you. This one, I saw this week, and when I read it, I'm like, yes, this could be words that come out of my mouth because I can really see myself in this one. And this one is from Oprah, and it says, I was once afraid of people saying, who does she think she is? Now I have the courage to stand and say, this is who I am. And when I read it and I really identify myself with this quote, with this phrase, because this could be me saying this today. I was that person that as I started my career, I always was afraid of what other people would think. And one of the things that I was afraid people would think of me or say about me is, who does she think she is? Meaning that people would think that I was trying to, or that I was making decisions or saying things that were completely out of place. And that made me always question myself and feel very insecure because I was afraid that one day someone would think this of me. Today, most of the time, because there are days that I feel insecure, but most of the time, I feel really proud of who I am. And I feel proud of showing up as my authentic self. And this is I believe, one of the biggest growths that I have experienced in myself personally. Going from this insecurity and this fear of being judged and other people think, who does she think she is? To standing up straight and shouting to the world, here I am. This is who I am. And not in a pretentious way, not in an egocentric way, but in a very authentic and confident way that I accept myself and I am proud of who I am and what I have to say and the value that I can add to a conversation, knowing that there might be times that I'm wrong. There might be times that I will make mistakes. There might be times that I will be out of place, but I'm okay with that because those are just learning opportunities, and I will rather say something and be wrong and afterwards admit that I'm wrong and learn from that not saying anything and holding back to what I really want to say and speak up and express. So again, when I read this and knowing that this comes from Oprah herself and that this is something that she went through in her own life and she is someone that I admire, and now reading it and saying, this could be me saying this because this really reflects my personal evolution and my own personal growth. So as always, I like to leave you with an invitation. And today is an invitation for reflection on where are you in this spectrum? Do you find yourself frequently feeling afraid of being judged and feeling afraid that other people might think or say, who does she think she is? Or are you frequently finding yourself standing tall and proud and shouting from the rooftops, this is who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, with all my strengths and all my weaknesses, with all the things that, all the good and all the bad, right? All the positives and all the negatives. Admitting that I might not be perfect, but this is who I am, and here I am. And I'm not afraid of speaking up what is on my head, what is in my thoughts, what is in my heart. I hope that you find yourself identify more with the latter. And if you don't, if you're still stuck in the space of fear of judgment and what other people might think, or other people thinking, who does she think she is? I want to invite you today on how can you show up today as your authentic self. And after you do, tell these words to yourself. This is who I am, and here I am. And start working on building that self-confidence. We've talked a lot about self-confidence here on the podcast. There's been episodes that we've done with some tips and some tricks and some strategies that can help you continue to build your self-confidence. But here's the truth. There are no shortcuts. This is a journey that you need to go through, and the only way that you can get to that point is by practicing, is by stepping outside of your comfort zone, is by starting to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, that is our quote for the week. I hope that you have an amazing week ahead of you. I will see you here again next Monday for a new and special episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.